Hey everybody, Dr. Zach here with Aspire Health Clinic of Chiropractic. So we're going to continue this awesome, extraordinary journey on the biohacking series and talk a little bit more about some supplements that I take in order to help me achieve my goal of living 100 years like I'm 20 years old. So we talked about vitamin D, we talked about cordyceps, we talked about resveratrol, and today what we're going to be talking about is berberine. And this is going to be a supplement that probably few people have heard about, but it is a fascinating supplement, and I heard about it a few months ago, and ever since then I've just been infatuated by it. It is a very key component, I believe, in a lot of overall health today in society, and we'll dive into why that is here in a second. So berberine and its role is going to be pretty diverse, but what we're going to talk about is blood sugar regulation, because as you know, and as I might know, there tends to be a little bit of sugar in today's diet. Tends to be just about in everything that we eat. And it's good, it tastes good, it's addicting, and that's why it's there, to get us to consume more of it. But the problem is eating too much of it and not being able to regulate it once it gets inside the body. So 3 things that berberine does is, first, it acts as a buffer. So when you eat these carbs, they break down, and when they break down, they go into your bloodstream. When they go into your bloodstream, they go into your cells, and then your cells metabolize them, break them down, and you have energy to record videos and talk about cool science stuff. The problem with that is sometimes our processes in our body become a little bit less efficient in some degree. So one thing that berberine does is it acts as a buffer, and that's going to help slow the process of those sugar molecules going into your bloodstream, which is going to be great. It gives your body a little bit more of a chance to kind of cope with the excess sugar or glucose in your blood. The second thing it does is it actually decreases insulin resistance. So we're going to take a side tangent here. Insulin is going to be a thing. I don't want to get too specific and scientific. It's going to be a thing that your body makes in order to absorb sugar into your cells, so your cells can use that for energy. This becomes a problem in type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome and a whole thing that I'm not going to talk about, but it's a factor. And essentially what this compound does, or what berberine does, is it helps decrease that threshold. Sometimes you become a problem when you become insulin resistant. And that basically means that this molecule talks to your cell. It's like, hey, let some sugar in. And your cell's like, I don't know who you are and what you're doing here. So long story short, your cell doesn't let any sugar in, which is a problem because your body needs sugar. So it helps with that. And the third thing, which is kind of like an AMPK type enzyme or a metabolic thing that your cells do in order to help become more efficient at metabolizing the glucose, is the berberine's ability to help upregulate that or make it more efficient. So berberine buffers, it helps with the insulin sensitivity, and it also helps your body metabolize the glucose once it's in the cell. So 3 things that are super beneficial. And the thing that we're going to dive into now is, why is that such a huge component? Too much sugar in your body is just very disruptive, or I should say destructive. Just the overall properties, I won't bore you with the details, but just sugar and your cells and just sitting in there, it's just not a good thing. Helps or doesn't help. It destroys kind of blood vessel lining. It increases blood pressure, and it regulates with the insulin resistance and things of all that nature. So it's something to definitely be aware of and to try to avoid. So the cool thing with berberine is that it helps buffer this entire system that we have, especially in the Western diet, with a whole bunch of sugar and all sorts of things of that nature. So basically kind of the take-home message for this is berberine is awesome for regulating blood sugar. And maybe don't eat sugar or not as much of it. And then I think berberine would be a very good component if you have any sort of metabolic or diabetes type thing. Obviously ask a professional about that before you do anything, but I think it is a fascinating supplement to help with the destructive nature of sugar and how it is regulated in our body. So got kind of complex. Hope it wasn't too much, but long story short, it's a very cool molecule, and dive into some things because it also helps with autophagy, and autophagy is going to be something y'all are going to have to wait for because that's an entire presentation itself. So tune in next time, and I appreciate your attention.